Director, where are we now? We are just months away from the extra unemployment benefit ending.
Yes. We continue to see employment numbers getting better and unemployment numbers going down. So that's great news for the economy. We still have quite a few folks who have not been able to get back to work. They're waiting for their jobs to come back, or in many cases, they still have challenges. Childcare is a challenge. Transportation might be a challenge. So a lot of folks are still out there looking, which is important. We continue to encourage folks, if they're interested, to do retraining and reskilling, so they have more options to look for new jobs. So I would say we're making progress, and not as much as we'd like.
How many Nevadans are still on unemployment? And over the next several months into the end of the year, are we projecting how many may still need unemployment?
It really has been changing every single week, so we don't have a projected number. We usually do the press release on unemployment on Fridays. So to be honest, because I was traveling, I don't have it off the top of my head. I can send that to you after we're done.
Yeah, no problem.
We do know, we are anticipating that there will still be people in those extended programs, the pandemic unemployment assistance for gig workers and some of the extended week programs. We have no control over the extension of those benefits. That is a congressional decision. And from everything we're hearing, Congress has no plans to extend those benefits. So again, that's why we're encouraging folks to really look at training if they can. You've got about 2 more months, and really be out there looking for new jobs, because the benefits are going away, and that is out of our control.
So let's pivot to retraining. How is Job Connect helping with that? And what can be done to get Nevadans retrained?
So right now, our Job Connect folks are still divided between helping folks with their unemployment benefits and then helping folks virtually for reemployment services. So if you have unemployment benefits, you're automatically signed up for Employee NV, which is where you can find all of our supports. We have job listings, support services. There's a form you can fill out if you would like to specifically talk to a counselor. That's not required, but it's an option that's available to you. And then we do have links to all of the credential programs, educational programs, and there are some that are 4 and 6 week programs that people can pursue. So Employee NV is your first stop for all of those services.
How is the job search requirement going? Is it encouraging people to get jobs, do you think?
Folks want to get back to work. We know that. The sort of reinstatement of the work search requirement, I think, helps prompt people to think through a little bit more. What are all the steps I could be taking? And there are quite a few things you can do that qualify, including updating your resume. But what probably is specifically helpful is updating your LinkedIn profile, or if you're a gig worker, updating your Lyft or Uber profile. So those things should directly be helping folks. And I think we're definitely seeing that in the numbers of people getting jobs. One of the things we're seeing that is a little challenging all the way around, that we want to make sure folks are doing correctly is if you are earning money, that doesn't automatically disqualify you for benefits, but you absolutely need to report your earnings. Your benefits will be lowered for that week, but then they'll still be in place week over week. If you don't report your earnings, that's problematic for continued benefits. So we just encourage folks to just keep us up to date on what's going on. So we know folks are, because we're starting to see that issue come up, we know folks are out there making money. We do think it is helping people get back in the workforce.
You've heard, as the director of unemployment, that wave of criticism across the country about unemployment benefits. A lot of jobs are saying that it's the unemployment benefits discouraging people from applying. But you also hear the flip side. There's a lot of people not finding livable wages and not finding a job that they were paid before. What's your opinion on that national debate?
Yeah, I think it's really there are a lot of factors in the post-COVID, we hope post-COVID economy. One of the things is, we know for sure childcare supports aren't fully back in services for families, and that is making it very challenging for particularly women to get back to work. There are folks who are immunocompromised and are concerned about their health and safety, so that they may not be going back to work. We know some families have found that they can make it work with one salary. And so it's a choice about quality of life. So I think there is a lot going on besides just the unemployment benefits specifically. But we also would encourage, and we have supports for employers. They can list their jobs with us. We can provide training and help them find employees. But yes, I think it also is a moment in time where employers can think about, can I offer more flexibility? What other benefits can I offer to make these jobs more attractive? As people can't get back into the workforce or decide to stay out of the workforce, employers are going to have to meet them partway in terms of what can we do to make this more attractive to you.
And that's great insight, because you do hear it from all sides and you get a greater perspective than most people. Let's ask about cards. Why switch to the Way to Go cards now? What prompted that?
Bank of America has been a partner with a lot of states, including Nevada. And last year they told us that they wanted to get out of the debit card business. And so we were, they've been a good partner in that they've extended their contract and allowed us to find a new vendor. And so we now have the Way to Go cards. Which it just part of the state purchasing process is you have to update your contracts on a regular basis anyway. So that it was coming sooner or later, and it just came this year. We're pretty excited about the partnership with Way to Go, because they, in addition to debit cards, have other payment methodologies which we're hoping to roll out in the future. And we are aware there have been a few small transition challenges. There was a challenge with the folks who had long addresses, which I think we've addressed that. And I, from everything I've heard from staff, pretty much everyone who had that challenge has gotten their card or will get it in the next few days. And just call our call center or the Way to Go call center if you haven't gotten your card yet, and we'll get it to you. I know there are one or two folks that still haven't gotten it. It's really important for our claimants to keep their addresses current in the online computer portal, so they get their updates as well as their debit cards. So.
On that, how about the phone
Yeah.
lines? I know it's been a chronic problem, and some say it still is. Any progress for a solution on that?
Yeah, we've made a ton of progress in the call centers in terms of being able to reduce the call times. I mean, there were folks who literally could be on the phone all day long waiting to get a response or never get a response. That is no longer the case. We still don't have enough staff to get to every single call, so folks have to call us more than once. That's true. And the other thing that happens is every time there's a change in the program or a challenge with the program, like getting people who need to call to get their new cards, the system gets longer times and there are more calls we don't get to. So now that most of the way to go calls are taken care of, we expect many more folks to be able to get through. The next thing that's coming up that I expect we'll get a lot of calls on is the final implementation of ID.me. So all the PUA folks have gone through it, and the new regular UI claimants have been doing it. Now we'll do the final catch-up piece, which we did in PUA before, which is if you're a continued claimant, you'll need to do the one-time process of verifying your identity with ID.me, and we're sending out emails to those claimants soon so they can get ahead of that process. But I expect we'll get a lot of calls around that too.
Any word when Job Connect offices may reopen for the public and people can go in and actively work with someone to find a job?
We are looking to have the Job Connect offices open sometime in the fall, and we really just need to get through sort of really what we're working on is getting through the folks in regular UI who are still pending their adjudications. We're much more closer to current on that, but we're not quite there. So we need to get to that point to be able to have the staff for the Job Connect offices to open.
And it sounds like still, despite, I know you now have hundreds more workers, but it's still, is this accurate? Is it still too much of a load to tackle Job Connect and claims at the same time? It sounds like these workers are juggling both.
Well, we have, when the pandemic first started, we pretty much moved all of the Job Connect folks into UI work, and we also borrowed from vocational rehab and Equal Rights Commission, just anybody we could get. We've slowly been releasing all those folks back to their original duties. So the Job Connect staff is about half and half. About half of them are still working UI claims, and about half are currently supporting workforce training and employment supports, but they're doing it virtually so they can help a lot more folks. So it's, yes, we're not quite to the point where we have the full complement of Job Connect folks able to work on employment and workforce services, but we expect in the next few months to be there.
It's certainly in a tough predicament too, with so many people still on and needing unemployment. To sum this all up, what's your advice for anyone at home who is still on unemployment and searching for work?
I am very encouraged, and I would encourage folks who are still on unemployment to think about this. We know a large percentage of folks going back to work are actually returning, are actually going to new employers. And part of that is that they're finding a job that's a better fit for them. Either they've developed some new skills, or there's better flexibility of hours. We've never wanted people just to take the very first job that came along. We want them to have meaningful work that's a good fit for their skills and their family's needs. So I would encourage folks to continue to think about that, and maybe broaden what they're thinking about and broaden the jobs that they are applying for. As you note, there's sort of this national urgency. A lot of employers are looking for people to work for them. And so I would say, think about, is there something a little different you'd like to do? Is there a certificate that would help you get to a new place? Because I think that we're seeing a lot of mobility in the workforce, and this can be a great time to take advantage of that. We have about 2 more months before these benefits run out for most folks. So I would encourage people to cast a wide net.
Are you worried some people might look too late for a job?
We do every once in a while see a social media post or something, get an anecdotal story of people who say, it's my right to collect all of these benefits. And certainly, while they're there, they're available to folks. But yes, I mean, just thinking about getting a new job, it takes you a little while to get your first paycheck. So we would encourage folks to really start looking. There is an increased sense of urgency because these programs are winding down. So now is a really good time to be out there doing what you can to find a new spot to work.
Director, thank you so much. Always good to hear from you, and thank you for your time and your compassion for folks.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.